Welcome to the Parts and Labor Motorcycle Podcast. It's brought to you by Biltwell, Inc. We're going to dive deep into anything motorcycle related. We're going to introduce you to some of the most interesting friends we know, and we might even try to solve a problem or two. You got a question? That'd be cool. Send us a voice recording or an email. pod@biltwellinc.com. pod@biltwellinc.com. And we're back in studio today with Steve from tilldeathcycles. Steve, how do you pronounce your last name?
Blalock.
We're at the Parts and Labor Podcast, Temecula, California. We're here with Steve Blalock from tilldeathcycles. That's his newest entity. Steve's been doing this motorcycle thing for a minute, for being what I would still consider a younger guy, a whippersnapper. He's kind of an OG. He hasn't quit. He hasn't started working for the union. He's still all in it for the motorcycles. Steve, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming out. I know there's a couple guys that would like you on their podcast, and you shoulder hopped them to get onto ours, and we are very grateful. Flynn Bryant and I, producer Flynn Bryant. Flynn's been putting together these podcasts now for close to a year. We've got about 15 or 16 in the can, and we're super stoked to be getting to talk to guys like Steve, some of our friends that I think we take for granted. I've been around Steve for a long time. For, I'd say, my little motorcycle career, I've known Steve. Met him at the swap meet, I believe. And he's an interesting guy, and he works hard, and he does it because he loves it. If you know anything about the motorcycle industry, none of us are in it to win it. We're just scraping by, and we were just talking about that with Steve. This is a hard game. It's hand to mouth. It's for a lot of us, we came through the trades, construction, so it's not anything new. You know, it's very much like construction. You know, it's feast or famine. It's usually famine. Yep. You know, unlike construction, though, we usually don't dredge going to work every day. That's my story, at least. You know, I do come from a contractor background, and that's my next best option. But I hated that job, and I do like motorcycles, and I do like the friends and the people that I met through the motorcycle industry, and Steve's one of them. Steve, where did you grow up?
I was born in Van Nuys and then moved to Santa Clarita when I was 2. And I grew up in Santa Clarita and then kind of moved around. But, yeah, Santa Clarita was my home.
Magic Mountain.
Magic Mountain.
Yeah. So did you have a season pass?
You know what? I didn't. We would just go kind of, whenever. But I don't think I ever got a season pass. Okay. Because it was just, when it's right next door, it's just not like a thing. You're like, whatever.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah.
So I grew up in northern LA County.
Mm-hmm.
You got a mom and a dad, I take it. What'd your dad do? What'd your mom do?
My mom was a stay-at-home mom. She taught us. I was homeschooled. Everybody kind of knows this about me. But I got pulled out of school in 5th grade and was homeschooled from 5th all the way through high school. So she was my teacher, which, God bless her soul, I was a pain in the ass.
That's a tough thing to do, right? Now that you got kids,
No, there's no way I could do that. No way. I'd be ripping my hair out. So she did that. My dad was a stuntman, like my whole, childhood growing up. Like, I think when I was born, I think he got his first job and then managed to do that his whole career and retired.
Your dad was a stuntman. What kind of stuff did he do? Growing up in Southern California, like you probably weren't the only kid whose dad was a stuntman, but it was probably still kind of rare.
Oh, it was rare for sure. My dad, he was MacGyver stunt double all the years throughout that.
Pretty awesome.
It was cool for sure. It was like, oh yeah, my dad, jumps off of cars and rides motorcycles and stuff. So that was cool. Yeah, he doubled what's his name? Richard Dean Anderson on MacGyver, and then what was the other one? Oh, the other day I was showing everybody. He was in a Chicago video, Stay the Night, and he does like a slide for life and lays down a police bike in the LA riverbed. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, that childhood was pretty rad. Trying to chase my dad. He's way cooler than me.
Is the uncle that I know, is that your dad's brother?
That is my mom's brother.
That's your mom's brother.
But my dad and my uncle, they hung out like as kids. So like me and my uncle, our relationship now, I was like my dad and him back in the day. He was like 10 and my dad was 21 or something.
What's your uncle's name?
Anthony.
So yeah. Steve's uncle, Anthony, he comes to my swap meets in NorCal. But I remember him coming to Long Beach, right?
Yeah.
Did he live down here?
No, he used to drive all the way down just to come out.
I think I might have met him before I met you. I seen him around.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe.
But, okay, so dad's a stuntman, mom's stay-at-home mom. That's a good mix in Southern California for raising a kid that probably doesn't listen well, is going to grow up and have tattoos on his neck and work in the motorcycle industry.
Absolutely.
None of that is surprising to me.
Like a perfect recipe.
So what your dad rode motorcycles, and if he's laying them down in the movies, he's riding.
Yeah.
I know I bought some bikes from another stuntman friend of your dad's that had some really cool motorcycles. So that's the stuff that you're exposed to at a young age, I'm guessing, right? Yeah. That makes it so where Steve wants to play with motorcycles. What are some of those early motorcycle memories? Do you guys come into the house with cool bikes, or your dad working on stuff? Or
not so much that. My dad, God bless his soul, he's not mechanically inclined at all. But I was allowed to take stuff apart. My uncle was like probably the bigger mechanical. He was just like, hey, let's go buy this bike and let's take it apart. So that was like early on, like when I was 10, 11, 12.
Uncle Anthony?
Yeah, we'd go and we found like a old barn find, like iron head. Went home. I spent all day taking it apart and figuring out what we were going to do. So that was like an early memory. But the earliest memory, my dad being a stuntman, in our backyard, we had this big hill on our backyard, and he had a trials bike, and he would ride. When I was a baby, he would put me in the front, and he would ride his trials bike up the backyard and do like a trail that he made in our backyard. So like I've been on motorcycles since I was an infant.
Right.
So, and my mom probably didn't know that.
Yeah.
So
I hope she's not listening.
You know, she's in heaven, but she is listening. Oh. She's like, oh,
She already knew it then.
She's like,
she's in heaven.
Yeah. Oh, she already knows.
So your dad was a heavy influence, and then your uncle kind of helped reinforce it, pushing you into it. Hey, we're going to get an iron head. If you guys don't know, the reason there's swap meets is because there's iron heads,
Yes.
Because you buy an iron head and you think you're going to ride it all over, and then you take it apart, and maybe it goes back together, but you probably don't get much riding.
No. I think I've had 4. I've got 4 projects and be like, oh, this is going to be cool. I'm like, no, this isn't cool. I'm going to get rid of this.
Yeah, man.
And sell it for less than you bought it for.
Yeah, absolutely. if you can sell it.
Yeah.
But it learns you a lot, right? Like
it does.
I'm going to have a vintage Harley. I'm going to learn how to work on stuff. Yeah, most of that stuff's true. If you have a shot of keeping those things on the road, you're going to need to know a little bit of something. I mean, we had Speed King Steve's. Did we have Steve in here? No, we haven't had Steve in here, but I know that's Steve's story too. Got an iron head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Got an iron head.
Where it starts for a lot.
So it's where it starts for a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever owned one that ran, but I've owned a few. All right, so getting into bikes, early influences, dads in the movies and all that stuff. What was the Ironhead was the first bike? Did you get that thing running or?
No, that wasn't the first bike. Well, the one with my uncle, that was his bike. We did get it running eventually. I think I just took it apart. My first bike was an 06 Sportster when I worked at Harley.
What Harley?
I worked at Van Nuys Harley before they closed.
Okay.
Now it's Santa Clarita Harley, or Old Road Harley, I think it's called.
I just saw it. It's like a big giant new building right next to the freeway, right?
Yeah, and who's the actor, the T100?
Oh, yeah.
Or he owns it now. But.
Okay, that makes sense. They have their clubhouses right there.
Yep.
The Booze Fighters clubhouses right there in the hills.
Yep.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. So I worked there, and against my judgment, I wanted to buy this used. It was like Carl's Speed Shop did the whole motor. Some dude came in and traded in. It was like I want to say it was like an 02 Sportster Sport. It was badass. And I was like, I want that thing. And they were like, all the sales guys were like, oh, this is your first bike. Oh, hey, you shouldn't buy that. It's used. Why don't you buy a new one? You know, they're better, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, but I really want that. And they're like, no, well, let's do this one. So I got convinced and whatever.
Carl's Speed Shop, Sportster Sport. Sounds like a pretty cool bike.
I should have bought it. It was red. It was the red with like the checkerboard pinstripe on it. And I'm like, dude, come on. Anyway, lesson learned. But I got this 06 Sporty. First day I got it, took the tins off, had them sandblasted, went to IMS and bought like the patina stuff and made it look rusty and just kind of did my thing on it. And I rode it, I think, on rigid struts with a solo seat pan with nothing on it for a long time with like Z bars, and it was terrible, but it was my terrible. I loved it. So that was my first bike.
I think a lot of us have that same exact story.
But I rode the thing everywhere. I rode it to the first Smoke Out West out here. I broke my ankle on that trip. There was like a whole thing. That bike, I rode it for like I think 5 years.
What's it with you and breaking ankles?
Yeah, I don't know.
You kind of got a history.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I've broken, twisted. You know. Yeah.
All right, so you got the Sportster. I mean, that's similar to my story. I got, I had a chopper project, and then that thing never ran, and I got a Sportster. I'm like, man, I'm tired of waiting. And that Sportster took me to some cool places, and it was a lot of fun. And man, as reliable as a Harley Davidson will ever be is a Sportster from those eras.
If you go back and look at all the badass biker dudes that back in the day, all road Sportsters, they were like shovel heads. Those are boat anchors. Let's get these like fast little rip around. They knew what was up. There's nothing wrong with Sportsters,
dude.
I back it.
I back it too. I grew up in Elsinore. There's a club guy out there, Kenny, and he built bikes for a living, and Kenny rode a Sportster. It's like he builds bikes, and he rides a Sportster. I remember he had a red Simpson helmet. He had red Chucks, and his shop was off Main Street, behind Main Street, and he had a bad stripped down Sportster with a little bit of over front end. That you just rip around on with mags, and to me, still those bikes are like.
He probably smoked everybody too.
Oh, he did. He did. And they're just reliable. You know why he rode it is because he didn't want to work on stuff all the time when he got home. He worked on bikes all day long. When he got home, he wanted to freaking set it in the corner and then knew it would start in the morning. As long as he turned the gas off and turned the key off.
That's how I am now. So, I work on bikes all day. I don't want to do anything. I want to sit on the couch and do nothing.
I know. That's why I like Hondas. I'm with you.
Yeah.
All right. So first working in the Harley dealership. Where'd you go from there? What were you doing there? Parking bikes, valet kind of stuff?
I got a job in parts first.
Okay.
I worked in parts for 2 years. Then they finally moved me out to the service area, and I was doing just, grunt work, tires, oil changes, new bike setups. It was just not making no money. And I'm like, dude, this is not the business.
Yeah, but
it was whatever.
That's what you're supposed to do, Steve, right? You know what I mean? You're a kid, you don't know shit.
Yeah.
You don't know nothing. I mean, you're supposed to do grunt work, dude. You can't even be trusted, Let's see if you can, let's see how long you can show up doing grunt work.
Yeah.
Without being get off my lawn, man. That's what's wrong with kids these days. Is they just want to start as the owner.
I mean,
right?
Oh, for sure. And there was some of that thinking, but I was a hard worker and I did a good job, and I'd already been at the dealership for 2 years. I'm like, know what I'm doing, but I'm glad I went that route because I learned,
swapping tires when it's 100 degrees is freaking hard.
Oh yeah. But when people would come in and they were like, "Hey man, I want to do this, this, and this. I need this part." I already knew all the parts, so I was like, "Oh yeah, you need these couple of parts."
So it made you a little more valuable.
It made my job and everybody else's job easier. So I had that in my back pocket.
So tiptoeing around. Santa Clara Hardy in the back, starting to work on stuff, starting to turn you loose a little bit. You have some early mechanics, guys above you that helped you out, or are they all just jerks to you?
Yeah, there was. Dude, I'm terrible with names, but there was like a foreman. There's a couple dudes. One of my buddies, Kelly, he was, anything with a motor, he's amazing with. I think he's still doing. I don't talk to him very much, but I think he's still doing motors and. He had like a really, really cool setup sporty. So that was like, oh man, I need this thing. It was like the first one I ever saw with a steering damper on it. So it had like some cool stuff on it. And I was like, man, I want mine to look like that. So what did I do? Turned it into a chopper and didn't go that route. But, I thought it was cool. But my buddy Kelly, the service, I think he was the shop foreman. His name was Jeff. And just watching him do stuff, he was just fast. I mean, he was like one of the only dudes probably that was he was probably making $200,000 a year. So he was just fast. He knew what to do. He'd been doing it forever. That was pretty much, those two. There was some other cool dudes that I worked with, but I don't know. I didn't get along with the manager very well.
Right. So is that
we had issues.
Is that why you left the dealership?
Yeah. So actually, it's a kind of a wild story.
And back up, was this? You had a 2006 bike. Was this around 2006?
It was in 2000. I bought it brand new off the showroom floor. It was an 883.
Just to put things in perspective. So that's about 20 years ago, 19 years ago.
Mm-hmm. That was my first job.
So you're so dumb. You've been doing this thing for 20 years.
So dumb. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of jumped around and tried to be an electrician, tried to do that. And I always circle back to motorcycles, which I don't know. There's something wrong with my brain. There's a couple screws loose because why would you want to make this your career? But, whatever. We're here.
Yeah, no, we need to quit beating ourselves up
It's
about
okay,
it. Just
whatever.
run it.
You know, it's a labor of love.
Yeah.
We'll call that. Where was I at?
You're leaving the dealership.
Oh, yeah. So one day, I think it was a Sunday. Somebody asked me if I'd work Sunday, so I went in Sunday, doing an oil change, and then everybody knows with lifts, the bike lifts, if there's something under the bike lift and it comes down, it's going to fall over.
Yeah.
So we always put the ramp underneath the lift until we were done. So there's room to walk around, whatever. So I hit the up button and I grab the bin of oil and I'm like trying not to spill it. And I'm going over to where we dumped it and whatever. I go over and I dump the oil and I hear my lift go, psh, it starts coming down. And I'm like, what's going on? I look over and the service writer, I'm not going to say his name. He pushed the button down and walked inside. So I'm like, oh, okay. He pulled it down, nothing, didn't think anything of it. And then I hear, blah, 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 the lift falling over and it was a bike on it. So I'm like, So I'm like dumping the oil real quick. I set it down. I ran over and he comes running out and he's like, what happened? I was like, well, you put it down and the ramp was underneath, dude. I'm like, it fell over. So he's like, all right, let me go call the customer. Goes inside, calls the customer. Well, they never told him. And so now I'm like, they never told me they didn't call him either. So I'm like stuck in this whole lie or whatever. So he's like, all right, let me order parts. They order parts. It was like a week. We got parts for it. I put the bike back together. I didn't know. They never told the customer. I just did the work, whatever. It was like cam cover got messed up. Tank didn't get touched, but it was like bars were bent. There's a bunch of stuff. And it had heated grips on it for a sporty. I was like, this sucks. So I had to do heated grips. It's a pain in the ass. Got the bars on, got it all done. Guy comes and picks it up, shakes my hand. He's like, oh, awesome. It looks good, whatever. And he takes off. Comes back 20 minutes later. And I'm like, oh, what happened? Pulls up to my thing. He goes, hey, man, why is there a bunch of new parts on my bike? And I'm like, oh, because it fell over. He's like, well, what do you mean? And I was like, oh, here we go. And I'm like, go in, talk to so-and-so in the office. I was like, look, dude, I just do the work. I didn't know what happened. 10 minutes later, the service manager, Steve, into the office. And I'm like, here we go. So I walk in there, and this is the dude I didn't get along with. We go in there, sit down, the customer's in there, and he goes, what the heck's going on? He's like, nobody told the customer? And I'm like, hey, I'm just going to let you know, I knew nothing about this. I'm just the wrench. Yeah. And he's like, you had to have known. I'm like, why would I have known? So basically it was like trying to get me in on this lie. And I was like, hey, man, like, I looked at the customer. I was already over it anyway. I looked at the customer. I said, hey, man, I'm really sorry, but I'm telling you, I knew nothing about this. And I turned around, flipped off the service manager, and I was like, hey, I quit. A couple other choice words, but I'll leave those, But I walked out, packed up my stuff, called my dad. I was like, hey, I didn't have a truck at the time. I was like, can you come down and pick up my stuff? Came down. I pushed it into the alleyway. And as I'm walking out, my buddy Dean Del Rey, he's a comedian now, he comes walking up and he goes, hey, he's like, what are you doing? I was like, I quit. He's like, why? And I told him the whole thing. He's like, oh, man, that sucks. He's like, well, I have a West Coast chopper. I was like, yeah. He goes, they're hiring a mechanic right now. So he's like, let me make a call. And like a week later, I had a job down there. And I saw my manager. He's like, what are you going to do? He's like, what, are you going to just go to another dealership? And I was like, don't worry about me. I'll figure it out. And I was like, I got something on the line. And then he's like, what do you think? I was like, I'm going to try and go get a job at West Coast Chopper. He's like, no, you're not. I'm like, okay. So a week later, I got it. And I was like, hey, I'm working there. Yeah. Like a big middle finger to him. But so it was like a very quick, but that story is always crazy to me, like how everything worked. It's just one door closed and a window open and whatever. And it was cool.
Yeah. So you're out of jobs really for about a week and really not even that. You just had to get your tools over there.
I just took like a nice break and just like literally moved my tools home and then got the call, went down.
What year? So that's still 2006,
so that
7,
was, 8? That was in 06. Yeah, it was 06.
Man, those were exciting times for motorcycles.
Yeah.
Right? Like things were like Jesse James made it cool to be a grease monkey again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He put together an epic team of guys. How many guys, cool guys, came out of that shop? Who'd you work with at that shop?
Down there, so I mean, I owe everything. I've already talked about this before. Like I owe everything where I'm at today, what I know, who I know, all from West Coast Choppers. It was literally like I was the dude that didn't really know much. Like I was like the lower totem pole. I was just like, here, you can do final assembly, put the bikes together, ride them, whatever. But it was like Brandon from Mullins Chain Drive. He was there, and he was like, I was like, oh, geez. You know, him, Scott from Noise.
Scott
Jones. Pete Finland.
I heard of him.
Dude, he, who else? And then Bondo and Casey, all them in the paint shop. And then, I don't know, I'm going to forget people. Car Fixer Rick was there. Like, Chopper David already left. Who else was there? I don't know. Everyone there. I'm going to forget people, whatever. Get mad at me.
Bill Dodge was gone.
He was gone already.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm missing some people. Anyway, but just walking into that and just everybody in that place. It's like,
A lot of talent.
you know, just talent everywhere. And so I learned real quick, Rockabilly J taught me how to use the lathe. That's why I know how to machine now.
That's why you fix everybody's mags in Southern California.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you got mags, don't bring them to Steve.
Yeah. I mean, I do.
Just kidding. He loves
bring them, but don't.
Bring them.
One at a time. But yeah, being there was crazy. It was crazy to walk in and just with all the talent. Me and Scott kind of made friendship real quick, and me and Brandon too. I ended up working for Scott later on, but yeah, all those people. Aki, I forgot about Aki. Now he's got Hog Killers.
I just saw him out in Bonneville running fast.
Yeah,
man.
He's the only dude that I take motors to.
Yeah.
So if you need your motor done, take it to Aki.
Yeah, he's
man.
He's one of the ones, man. Yeah. He pays attention.
Yeah.
He's built a lot of motors that nobody really knows about every year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're around a lot of talented dudes. You're the youngster. You're coming up the hard way, right? Mm-hmm. They're making you earn it over there. I know a little bit about that shop. Like there's no free lunch. They don't keep you around.
Yeah.
If you're not pulling your weight.
Yeah.
But you're getting to learn really, really quickly. Mm-hmm. That must have been really cool.
It was awesome. Yeah, the commute, I was still living in Santa Clarita, so I rode that 06 Sporty, commuted for 2 years on that thing to Long Beach every day. It was, almost getting killed 15 times on the 405 is not fun, but I'm really good at splitting lanes and riding and seeing, accidents before they even happen. I'm like, oh, so yeah, it was.
Yeah, Southern California, if you don't die on a motorcycle, you learn that stuff really quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't die.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of, like you said, one trip to work in the morning, that's probably happened 5 or 10 times. You almost died.
That's probably 5 years of experience to somebody who lives in like the country. That's like a quick riding lesson.
So you guys were turning out cool bikes. Mm-hmm. Man, it seems like in those days, West Coast Choppers had at least one bike in every mag every month. Like the amount, not just the quality, but like the production was bananas,
Oh, yeah.
Like, some shops build one bike a year, mm-hmm. and that bike would go through all the mags. This is when we had magazines, people,
Yeah. Magazines are those paper things. You look at pictures.
Yeah, you set them on the toilet,
Yeah.
They're much bigger pictures than your phone, You can hold it open and read. They were pretty cool, just so you kids know.
Yeah. Go try and find magazine. They're pretty cool.
They are pretty cool, man. And those magazines back then were like the horse would come out. You're like, oh dude. Man.
I would just
blow my mind.
I would sit there and because I went to the horse smokeout, like I said. So every single one, I would search and go, "Am I in here?" Like a nerd. I'm like, I just want to be in a magazine. I'm like, oh no, I'm not in this one. Dang it.
That's pretty cool though, Steve.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
You cut your teeth with some good dudes. You got to be a part of some pretty epic bikes. Now 20 years later, those bikes are like starting to come out of the garages. It's actually, they've been coming out of the garages for the last 5 years, really.
Yeah.
Guys like Johnny, Atwater Johnny,
mm-hmm.
and some of those other guys, like dragging them out and talking about them again and saying, man, these were cool bikes. These were groundbreaking at the time. Again, what made me want a motorcycle is looking at some of those magazines and looking at some of those motorcycles and some of those bikes. And You're a part of it, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So how long were you there at that shop?
So let's see, '07. I think I was there for almost 3 years, and then for a little while after my daughter was born, I quit because me and the manager at the time didn't. I guess I don't get along with managers, but my ex-wife was going through a tough time having the baby and going through some post traumatic stress kind of deal, and I was just like, hey man, I need to take like a week off. And he just wouldn't give it to me. So I was like, well, I got to quit then. My family's more important than work, and I'm not going to leave her home, and she's freaking out. So I left for a little while, and then I got called back. So it was like a total of 3 years, I think.
Okay. Man, I think in West Coast shoppers times, that's like, any motorcycle shop, really, that's like 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
Right? That's because it's pretty common. Some hot heads, some easy money, some hard money. Mm-hmm. Like it's kind of a recipe for. There's a reason all these motorcycle shops got reality shows. Is because like they are a reality show every single day. They didn't have to fabricate drama. The drama was being made every day. Mm-hmm. It's hand to mouth. It's construction. You know what I mean? It's working. You're going to turn out the best product possible, but you're going to do it as fast as possible, as cheaply as possible, and with some of the craziest workers.
Yeah.
Right? So when there's a fire at the shop, literally or figuratively, it should really come as no surprise, when you're changing chops, when you're packing up your toolbox, you half the time, I think why guys put their tools away each night, because they might have to come get their box in the middle of the night and leave.
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The shop's on fire. The boss quit. They didn't pay the rent.
Yeah, somebody took all the money and ran.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, that's construction, same thing. Like, hey, take your tools home, dude, because tomorrow the shop might not be there. Yeah. That's what I learned on a job site is take your tools home always. Yep. They might get stolen, whatever, but lock your box and put your tools away at the very least.
Very true.
You were living in that, and when it was kind of like that, and cutting your teeth. So you lasted 3 years. You went back after your wife. You figured that's the family stuff out. I do admire you, Steve, because I know now you have a big blended family. Mm-hmm. You got a lot of kids, and you seem to hold it together. And we're always, I know you run it ragged because I see you at the swaps. You were just here at my little swap on Saturday by yourself, working hard, sweating, and then going home, to be with your wife and family. Mm-hmm. So I respect that you're able to, keep your kids and wife happy. That's not easy thing to do. How many you got? You guys got 4 kids together?
4 kids. So we have, me and my wife now, Paige, we have 2 kids together, 2 boys, and then I have 2 girls that are older from previous.
Yeah, so that's not an easy thing to pull off. In Southern California, we were just talking before we got sat down here how expensive stuff is down here. People love to beat up Southern California and talk trash on us, but it's like most of you guys wouldn't last 1 month here. Just so you know, and I'm being nice. You probably wouldn't last 1 week. You have to work so hard to pay the rent. If you take one day off and it's the wrong day, you're going to come back and the guy will have raised your rent at your shop, or you would have missed a payment on your car and the car's been repoed and sold already. Yeah. You don't even get a chance to get out of hot.
Definitely not for the week.
It's not for the week, and I think that's one of the things people don't know about Southern California. Is we work hard out here to just keep our nose above the water, man. Yep. And Steve's one of those guys. And then you got to work extra hard if you want to pay the bills and keep your wife happy and keep the kids around. Yep. Not have them turn out to be homeless derelicts. Yep. That's not easy. Yep. But Steve will bring his kids to some of these events. They're running around. They're happy. His wife's super cute. She's always smiling. She's not in a bad mood. So I know how much work that takes in the motorcycle industry, especially.
I think my wife, she's amazing, but I don't know what's wrong with her, why she likes me so much.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a pain.
Yeah, there's probably something wrong. I think that could be a whole nother episode.
I mean, it's kind of like I have an old Easy Rider in the bathroom at the shop. And it's like how to pick an old lady. It's pretty funny. It's like one of the early magazine, or one of the early numbers of the magazine when they came out. And it was like how to choose your old lady. And it's just like, if she doesn't like motorcycles, leave her. Like there's just like all this stuff. And I was like, I mean, that's my wife. She chose me. So I don't know, whatever. I'm blessed.
Again, I see her. I see the kids at the events. They're not like looking. They run around, they're throwing
they just
stuff, they're hiding
crazy.
parts,
Yeah, they're crazy,
Yeah,
but they're definitely not. I refuse to raise iPad kids.
Yeah.
They're they're feral. They're running around. They want to touch everything, which is, I love it.
No, I love it.
So,
and I think that's another thing that maybe people don't know about our little Southern California motorcycle culture is like we're all pretty friendly to each other. We mostly get along, man. And,
for the most part.
And you take your kids to the swap meet, and like there might be in everyone else's booth but your own the whole time.
Yeah.
Like and we trust each other to have our kids running around or our old ladies. Oh, you like this guy's chick? Go talk to her.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be over here selling parts.
Yeah.
I would take my wife to the swap back in the day, and she'd hang out with Speed King Steve's wife or whatever, and they have a little sewing circle and talk about it. And I don't have kids, but I see, people's kids. Al will bring his kids to the swap meet, and they'll come hang out with me or whatever, run around and try to eat all my snacks and drink all my drinks, and it's like, man,
that's just part of it.
That's part of it.
I wish,
and it's a cool thing.
Yeah, I wish my dad's not into anything, so it's like when I see that and I'm trying to like expose my boys to like. My dad was just kind of very Christian and didn't like anything. So he liked everything. Don't get me wrong. My dad's awesome, but he just wasn't into like the stuff. He was into motorcycles, but not into like swap meets. He just rode, kind of deal.
Right.
But no, it's like, trying to I bring the boys to like hardcore shows and like, just do stuff that I wasn't allowed to do when I was a kid. So it's fun.
Well, I think you have the wisdom and the experience now to look back to say, look at my parents tried to keep me away from all that stuff and it didn't work. Didn't work. Maybe
now I'm exposing mine
they'll
to
be
them.
into classical music. You know what I mean? And and if you take them to the swap meet, maybe they'll hate motorcycle guys.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
That's the hope. I'm like, don't do what I'm doing, please.
Yeah.
Do anything
so
but.
Maybe the reverse psychology. You're like, let's get you a bike. Nah, I want to just stay at home. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. So cool. So that seems to be working out. Where'd you go after West Coast Choppers? What was next?
So, man, what did I do? I think, so I was kind of in and out. I think that's when I took that electrical job.
Okay.
But I was like partially working at Scott's out of his garage in Costa Mesa for a little while. So I'd go help him. I was kind of jumping around, kind of just doing whatever. And then I was like, I need to get a job because I had a kid and a wife. So I was like, it's probably time to like make some money or try at least. So I got a job with this electrical company, and the day I started, I went to Santa Rosa for 6 months. I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah, working downtown's hard.
I couldn't do it. And I was making no money, being out of town. My wife at the time was pregnant for the second time, and I'm like, I can't do this. So I came back, went back, worked for Scott again, did that for a while. And then there was like some other little shops. There was one shop in Santa Clarita I worked for a little bit. I don't even remember the name of that place. It was terrible, awful. But I just kind of like stuck with Scott for a while, and then I met some people. I even went and worked for this guy, Tom. It's funny, we were talking about all the West Coast choppers. So I met him through Bondo. At the time, Bondo was painting this West Coast chopper that some dude bought from Jesse, took it and had it completely repainted from the original, which is something you don't really do because it's like, why would you spend all that money and then change the whole thing? Yeah. And he painted it off. It was like flat black frame, and the paint was terrible. So the guy that bought it, this dude Tom, he brought it in, was going to have Andrew paint it. Well, somebody had to take it completely apart and put it back together. All the parts were original, all the like the chrome, anodizing, all that stuff stayed the same. It was just paint. And the frame was like raw, and they heated up the welds and then cleared it. So we took it back to that. And so I met this dude, Tom. I did all the work. Bondo did the paint. We got it done, got it out of there. Well, I was kind of like in between trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Wasn't really making money, trying to do stuff on my own. And the dude, Tom, was like, hey, I have a tree company. I need someone to like watch my crew. Come work for me. I'm like, okay. So I go and work for him. And it was the same thing. I was like, I'm bored. I can't do this. So I went back to motorcycles. But he owns like 15 maybe 20 West Coast choppers.
Wow.
Yeah. So
he
collects them.
He's got to have one of the
So
bigger
I
collections.
haven't worked on them in a long time, just because I'm busy with the shop stuff. But yeah, he owns all those. But I did the tree trimming thing for a while. I worked for Koski up at Sunrise Cycles in LA for a while. Then I got a job with Falcon Motorcycles with T-Bone.
I remember that
in LA.
Yeah.
And that was interesting.
Yeah.
It was walking into like a
Fancy
crazy art district, like looked like a warehouse, and you walk in, it's like full blown house, built up with a crazy shop, and it just was like so clean. You're like, am I allowed to make a mess in here? Kind of deal. So I kind of just went in, like helped move stuff around, and then they found out that I knew how to do some stuff. So for whatever reason, they were like, okay, you're lathe guy. I was literally on the lathe every day we made everything. Made like like when I say everything, like made the throttle cable, adjusters from scratch, like a lot of brass, a lot of stainless. Yeah, I was machining all day on the lathe. So that I got real good at figuring out different things.
That's probably some pretty cool training that you're grateful for
yeah,
now.
Because
that's
for
high
sure.
tolerance stuff.
Yeah. Well, working with stainless is, if anybody knows, it's a pain. It's like you go too hot or you go too deep, it sticks to your tools or breaks a drill bit. And I got real good at like figuring out how to machine stainless. So, yeah, I'm pretty decent with stainless.
So,
but Falcon was crazy. The bikes were like caliber that was even higher than like West Coast choppers.
yeah, who was the guy that was doing that? What was his
Ian.
name? Yeah, Ian.
Ian and Amaryllis.
What happened to him?
I don't know where he went.
He
I
got
don't know
into
if he's
vintage Porsches.
maybe.
Yeah,
Probably something like that. But he might still be building bikes. I don't know, but I don't.
Those were cool bikes, man.
Yeah, they were.
They were tasteful.
It was a crew of 6 people working on one bike for probably about a year. So it was crazy, like the amount of money and time that went into all these things. And yeah, it was.
They had the sales guys that could get the prices to where they needed to be to make a bike like that make sense.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know in your history if you've ever been around like a Vincent Black Shadow, but that's not something that you get to be around all the time. So it was cool to like have that. And there's like, there was like a section of motors like Ariel Square 4 and like some early British stuff in the corner.
Real cool.
Just sitting there.
I got my dad's Ariel Square 4 in my office.
Rad.
Yeah. So that's not a bike you see all the time either.
No. So I didn't even like going into that. I've always been into Harleys, and I'm like, I have no idea. Like Vincent Black Shadow, I had no idea what it even was. Yeah. And so having
rarer than rare.
Yeah.
And you ain't never gonna get a chance and again to work on one.
No. And just getting like, oh, you got to take this cam cover and we got to go cut it and do all this stuff to it. And I'm like, we're really gonna do that? Oh, okay, all right.
Don't mess it up because we can't get another one.
Hey, I messed up. I remember we made a homemade dual leading shoe front brake, and we had to, like, we CNC'd it. My buddy Dan worked with us, and he CNC'd the whole thing, and we had LA Sleeve make because there was nothing big enough to make a drum sleeve to press into the thing, and me and my buddy Troy, we had to press it in, and it broke the hub, and I was like, I don't remember how much time, how much money. I think the block of aluminum was like $1,000 or something, and we broke it. It was nothing we did. It was just tolerances or, how we pressed it or how whatever. And we had to make another one and have LA Sleeve make us another. And they were like locomotive piston pieces they made to put in these drum linings. And that was, it was just all, they were just like, stuff happens. I'm like sweating. I'm like, oh, well, I'm going to have to go find a new job. But, it was just crazy being able to work on that stuff.
Yeah, that's good experience. Good stuff. And, again, you're around talented dudes that I'm sure you're picking up little tricks from along the way. As an outsider looking in, Steve, it seems to me you learned not just a lot of tricks and stuff, but you learn how to work with a bunch of different personalities. You know, you learn how to put together a team. Most of the shops you've mentioned so far have had amazing teams. I know the couple of shops that you've been running now yourself. Dude, you guys got a team.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what it takes. One guy can only get so much done.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you only got so many hours.
I always joke, I'm like, I need like a clone because I say it, when I get frustrated in the shop, I'm sure everybody, Ernie knows for sure. I'm like, I'm only one guy. And I'll walk away and go do something else. I'm like, figure it out. I'm like, I gotta go do this. Like, you know, I'm only one dude.
Yeah. But you put together a few dudes
Yeah.
so that you're always, you guys have an online presence, you know, you've got a working shop. You guys show up at events all over the country. You know, that takes a team. You can only do so much.
Yeah.
No, I see you all over.
I mean, we try to stay relevant, so you got to do that stuff.
Yeah, you know, you got to do it. We know plenty of guys, I'm sure, that are great mechanics, builders, painters, whatever. Yeah. And they don't want to stay relevant. And sooner or later, they picked up a job at the water district or something because they couldn't cut it, you know. And it's unfortunately, you got to play that game these days.
Have to.
I think more than ever. You know, but you guys always seem to do it. You know, this is not your shirt, but my favorite shirt is that one, your Evo one with this color print, this color ink. You know, like you guys always have some good merch. You know,
I'm trying to do.
Your shops have always had great names. You know,
Yeah.
Till Death is a good one.
Yeah.
So I think you picked up on a lot of the stuff. You know, by osmosis. You know, osmosis sitting in the shop. You know, getting it pounded into your head over and over and over. It seems to be working. Fancy LA shop. What happens there? How do you get? What's your next gig? Where do you end up?
So I think I jumped ahead, but I think after Falcon, I went and worked with Koski, and then
Shout out Koski. I love Koski.
yeah, I miss that dude.
Little Japanese dude. Yeah. He got deported a few years ago.
But he went out on it. It was a great. It was. I mean, to go out that way, like you win Born Free.
Yeah.
With that amazing bike.
And he didn't get deported. He went back to Japan.
He just went back, and they're like, "Hey, you
gotta stay.
You're gonna stay." But but now he's killing it. So that dude.
He was a swap meet staple. We're so lucky to get the time with him that we did. You're real lucky to have worked with him.
Yeah. It's funny because I always joke because Koski you'll remember, he always wore his hat sideways, and then there was a point where he like kind of went into this greaser phase thing where he always did his hair and stuff, and now he's back in Japan, and I was like, yes, Hat Koski's back. So. It was funny.
I love Koski.
I know. He's rad.
He'll text me every 2 years or something like that. And I'm like, how do you still got my number? How do you still have your number?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
How much is this bike? Oh, that's too much. Well, then don't ask, Koski.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great.
So you worked with him.
Yep.
Another super talented dude. Yep. I mean, just next level.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and this is getting to be a thing with you, working with next level dudes and next level shops.
Oh yeah, I've been very, very fortunate to get to.
So either they're real poor at picking employees, or you're next level, Steve. Which is it?
Probably bad at picking employees.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. You just show up. This is what the problem is.
I'm
you just keep showing up, and they're like, this guy, we got to keep him. He's here. You know, and
he knows how to do some
he's
stuff.
Good on the lathe.
You know, figure it out.
He's good on the lathe.
Yeah.
But he don't party.
No, I don't.
Yeah, man, I think that's the missing piece of your motorcycle career is that you don't party, Steve. You
that's
gotta do some blow once in a while. I think that would take you to the next level.
I mean, you're right. I definitely get a lot more done at the shop.
You could get rid of this shop in Corona, and you could get one like in Beverly Hills or something. You know, just have like one whole motorcycle bay that's blow, and you just walk by and take out.
Yeah, hey, don't go in that section. That's my section. You go get your own blow section.
Yeah. It's hard to stay sober, I think, or straight edge in the motorcycle industry because there's so many guys that.
It is, but
blow it out.
I don't know. It's been so long. Like it's not anything new. It's easy. Yeah. Now it's been 18 years, so.
Yeah, I think
it's not even.
The guys that want to party just know. All right, Steve's no fun. I mean, that's how it is.
I mean, it's the opposite. They all because I. Like genuinely like going to bars with everyone. Yeah. Like with all the stunt dudes. Because we sponsor Nate, and all the stunt dudes, they're the funnest dudes to go out. I mean, it's like, I'm like the old guy to them all, but I have a blast. Like, I love going, me and my wife, we love going out with them. I'll go to the bar.
Is your wife straight edge or sober too?
No, she drinks.
Okay.
But not anything crazy, like every once in a while, but.
Doesn't really count.
Like, I like to have fun. I like to go to the bars and just watch everybody. I laugh harder at my drunk friends than, at anything else. So it's fun.
Yeah. No, it is cool to be the older, like you said, designated, keeping an eye on things and laughing.
Designated dad.
And being able to tell them the next day, here's what really happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know you remember it this way, but this is how it really happened.
Your story's wrong.
Yeah,
this is what really went down.
I got photos, Yeah, that's cool. Well, so how did all this stuff culminate in you owning your own shops?
So, let's see. I think after all that, I'm trying to think. I think I went to another shop, my buddy Stefan's shop out in Placentia.
Stefan, he used to live down here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Stefan.
Yep.
Yeah.
He let me rent like a part of his shop, and I wasn't really making much money. And he was like, "Hey, I got a bunch of work. Like, do you want to just like do like kind of like a partial trade, partial work for me kind of deal? Like, we'll just figure it out at the end of the month. Like, you can just have a section, you can do your own stuff, just work, and just bill me for what you work on for my stuff." So that ended up working out. And my buddy Jimmy that passed away out here, he was working there, and my tattoo artist, Griffin, he got a panhead, and somehow Jimmy got it and didn't. Jimmy was like, "Oh, we could do this, this, and this," and he didn't know how to do any of it. And he was like, "Hey, Steve, we need to do this, this, and this to Griffin's panhead. Like, what we got to do? Like, I'm trading. He's badass tattoo artist. I'm gonna trade him for tattoos. Like, you could probably get tattooed too." So I'm like, "Okay, sure." So I met him, and then where this all ties in is when my old business partner, which I probably won't say his name, but you can tell who's still here and who's not. But he got introduced to me. And then that was when we were kind of starting to work with Mark, Rusty Butcher Mark. I was already working with him, and we started this Track or Die thing, selling light bars and doing like the whole flat track thing. So we started doing that. Well, Corey came in, and we started kind of hanging around. And then we were like, "Hey, you want to do this like company? Let's like do this thing." So we actually like started moving. We got an apartment. Mark. We were broke. So in the beginning, Mark was like, "I'll pay your guys' rent. You guys just have to work on all my stuff. We'll go to all the events, and then you guys can work out of your garage at your house." So we started that in our garage, started working on bikes, getting stuff moving. Then we moved into the back of Mark's neighbor's shop, and we started running out of there. And that's kind of where where Track or Die came from. Did that for a while. We got, we were pretty big. Like,
you guys were doing it. You had a lot of your own parts.
Yep.
You had a great website.
It was good.
You had a good little team.
A long time. We had a good team.
Yeah.
And it was all cruising, and then it just wasn't anymore. Partnership dissolved. Whatever. I kind of got the shit side of the deal, or the poo-poo side of the deal.
At the time, it probably seemed like that, but now
it did seem like that. Now I'm like, I got the good side of the deal. It's just I wish things were. We could have went a 1,000 different directions.
It would have been an easier way to go about it.
It would have just been better if I bought him out, or he left peacefully and didn't.
Instead, you had to fight.
Take a bunch of money, but
you fought him out.
Whatever.
Yeah, it was work.
So
it was some work.
It was like a lot of like, what am I going to do? So.
Was that a time for you when you're like, man, maybe I should quit doing this?
Oh, it was definitely, and it was the first thing in my mind. And
like, dude, this is hard.
I'm
like I had all the success, and it's getting ripped from my grasp.
Well, it wasn't even like.
Is it time? In that time, you're probably with your current wife, right?
Yeah.
So
she was like.
You guys were having some stuff.
We were at. That was later on.
Okay.
But like during that time, she was just like, "What do we want to do?"
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. I'm gonna try and navigate. I mean,
one of those forks in the road.
Yeah, it was like, do I keep doing this? Do I go get a day job and do this on the side, or because I still had parts and I still had, Lowbrow buys a bunch of stuff from us, and they were like, "Hey, do you still have parts?" And I'm like, "Yes, I have everything, and I don't plan on stopping. Like I still have all these parts and people want them, but for a little while it was, I had to eat crow a lot. I was locked out of Instagram. So all of our customers, all the money was getting routed away from me. not going to point any fingers, but
stuff was still being sold.
It was still being sold, and it was getting
Someone was
put
keeping the
somewhere
money,
else.
and you were trying to send out.
And
parts.
I was still sending parts out, not knowing.
remember.
And then I realized what happened and figured it out. Put a stop to that. But I didn't have the Instagram. Everything was deleted, to try to make things more difficult. So I finally figured out, like, I'm not technology guy. Like, I'll be the first to say, like, I hate being on the computer. I know how to do it. I'm not illiterate. I hate it. My brain doesn't function that way. I don't want to sit in front of a desk. So I figured out how to get in to the Tracker Dive Facebook, and it automatically posts to Instagram. So I went on Facebook, filmed the video, and I'm sure a lot of people remember.
Yes.
I filmed the video and just was like, hey.
Told the story.
This is what happened. I'm sorry. And I just started, because the money was going somewhere else. If I went on, I literally spent an entire day sitting there going refund, refund, refund. And it all came out of the other account. So it kind of was like a nice little jab to the side, probably to him, because he didn't realize what I was doing. But I refunded everybody I could. And then eventually it stopped because the threshold was like so much. But I just said, anybody bought parts from me and I have them, I will send them to you. Just send me your order number, whatever. Just trying to navigate, because I'm like, my dad growing up in a Christian home, it was very much be nice to people, don't be a slime ball. I have some integrity, so I'm I'm going to try and give everybody back their money. I could have been like everybody else and been like, oh, well, you're screwed. Sorry. But I, did the right thing and tried to get people what they want. I didn't give them any money. I was just like, look, I'm broke. He left, I, kind of on the floor, and then just kind of navigated that way. But I think that in turn, everyone was like, oh, we're going to follow this new company because he's a nice guy. And I'm not trying to say that to be like a slap on the back. It's just, that's how things should be. And I see a lot of negative stuff going on in the industry. And I'm trying to be that light. I'm not a tough guy. I'm not trying to fight anybody. I'm trying to be nice. Try and be a different difference in this industry. Because there's a lot of dudes that are just I'm over it. See ya.
Well, in my opinion, that fork in the road could have been the nail in your coffin. Because, dude, if you would have just kept burning, even though it wasn't you burning people, it would be
it eventually gets back to you.
Yeah. Or you say, man, I'm trying. Hit me up. Let's work something out. Try to get you those parts, or I'm gonna have those parts one day again with my name on them, the new name.
Yeah.
And you went that route, and because of that, all those people didn't shun you and didn't blackball you. They stayed on your team, and now here you are, and you've been back for a minute. You got a successful shop. You got a great team of guys over there. I wouldn't call Ernie a great worker, but you got some other guys. Who do you still got over there working with you?
So Ernie's he runs all the front, and does answered phones, and he's not even wrenching anymore because for a long time he was just doing, mechanic work. Now he works in the office and takes care of all the stuff. Germ, my buddy Germ's back there. He kind of left for a while and he's back. And then I just hired my buddy Drake. So that's us three are there now.
So just lean and mean.
We're just
and you're turning wrenches in the back.
I'm not as much in there. I'm doing the online stuff and shipping orders and taking care of customers and trying to buy and sell bikes and doing some side deals with different people. I have a deal in Korea right now that I'm building FXRs for this dude. So that's all kind of. So I'm just trying to keep, but I'm not really in the shop. I'm in there when I need to be, but kind of hands off now.
I didn't know that.
So, which is good because I'm getting burned out.
Yeah.
Well, it's better now that I'm not in there, but everybody that turns wrenches, it's after a while you're like, dude, I need a break.
Yeah.
So, it's a good spot to be in now.
So you're getting a chance to be more in the back, twisting knobs and pushing levers and making sure you got stuff in stock to sell. You guys have some parts that are pretty popular. What are a couple of those?
So we make damper rods, which we've been doing that since the Tracker Die days. So that's everything that we have now. I haven't really come out with any new parts except for like remember those Pro 1 covers that went over like the FXR Heim joint front mount thing where that's like the box frame. I made those covers again. That's kind of like, that's a Till Death part. But everything else is all the same. We do dampers. We do we do those case savers for all the stunt boys so they don't break their motors.
Yeah, you guys were one of the first guys to have that, or that was you.
Yeah.
The little block.
Yeah. Well, we weren't the first. It was a dude that made them out of his garage, but he passed away. So we kind of saw the need and kind of ran with that.
That's for twin cams, right?
Twin cam. It'll work for FXR too, but mostly twin cam Dyna stuff. But anything rubber mounted, it'll work. We make some shorty foot peg levers for like the new Sportsters because anybody that owns one, they know that it's like 3/4 of an inch too long on the right side. Yeah. So we made a clevis that narrows them up. We make a couple tools, wheel spacer kits so you can run older sealed bearing mags on newer bikes.
It's probably that's one of those genius things.
Yeah, we just saw the need. I was doing like, I don't know, probably 3-4 a week back in the day, and I was, we sat down and figured out all the math, figured out all the spacing, and just now I've got the recipe for how to get all those on there. So, I'm trying to think what else we make. I stopped making some of the bigger stuff, like sprockets. I don't do anymore because I don't have $25,000 every time we run out. It's crazy. Yeah. But just like this, like just the meat and potatoes parts that we make, we still make. So
cool. You guys got a little bit of apparel in there too?
A little bit of apparel. I've got some new stuff. I always wanted to do something different when we were doing Tracker Die. Tracker Die was like very like bright colors, kind of like the neon kind of whatever, and I'm just over that. And I don't know. I just like, I mean, this
more
is
traditional.
Like, this is like my favorite shirt.
Yeah.
And I make all of our shirts are all like very like old. Like I literally take old shirts and redo them. Yeah. So like all the new shirts that I come out with, it's all old shop shirts that I'm just putting my name on, redoing the design. So it's fun. It's fun for me now because it's something that I enjoy. So,
you think you guys are in a pretty good position to keep doing it for a minute? I
think so. I think if we can, there's always like ups and downs, and I still have to deal with Tracker Die stuff. There's a lot of like figuring out, have to do bankruptcy and whatever. There's some red tape I got to get through on that, but all the new company stuff, I don't see it ever. I don't think it's going to end. I think we need to move buildings probably. The overhead's kind of crazy, but once we figure that out, I mean, if you come to my shop, it's packed with bikes. So, and I was told a long time ago by an old timer, he's like, the day you don't have a bike out there that you can go, this person owes me money, he's like, that's when you close. So I can walk around the shop and go money, 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 money. And I know what is going to come. So, I mean, it's a good spot to be in. So I'm just kind of, I don't know. I kind of just fly by the seat of my pants. I mean, it's just every day is a new adventure. So.
Well, you guys are still out there, like you said, being relevant. You're hanging out at events. How do you pick these events? How do you know? Like, there's always going to be some staples that you're at no matter what, right?
Yeah.
What are those ones? Obvious.
So it just obviously depending on what's going on, and I have 4 kids, so it's like, there's always something going on with them. But we kind of, obviously Born Free, it's in our backyard. And it's, I tell everybody that's out of state, like, I can go to the show and pick up 5 customers that didn't know we exist, and they're, right around the corner. They can come, and I can get the business from that. It's not like somebody from Texas or, you're not going to get work out of that. Like if you have online stuff, sure. But so it's kind of it's definitely a good venue. We always pick up a couple jobs from that, but it's always Born Free is definitely a staple. We did Mama Tried. Mama Tried's starting to become a little harder for us. It's just far. It's just
1,800 miles.
It comes to a point like the show's amazing. Don't get me wrong. And I still usually go every year, but vending for us, it just, especially with the new name, not very, like when it was Tracker Die, like everybody knew who we were and we did really well. But now it's just kind of, we get thrown into the mix and they're like, who are these people? And you're so far from home it just isn't worth it. And I just
into people coming to the shop really.
No, and it just doesn't. And last time I made a special batch of shirts going to it, and I just sold none. So it was just like kind of a disappointment. I was like, this kind of sucks. So that's getting harder to do. We did do Fuel Cleveland.
I saw you guys out there.
Yep. So I'd like to do that again. All depending on what it is, but. Born Free Texas we go to, but it just kind of as ourselves just go and hang out.
Yeah, some of these shows you go to for fun, and some of these shows you go to because it's good for business.
Yeah.
And
I would say probably Born Free is the only one good for business right now because it's so close. But yeah, we try and, I'd love to, get out to the El Diablo run, but I never, every single time it comes around, I never have a bike that's running.
Well, next year's the last one.
You
got that FXR, that shovelhead FXR?
No, I sold it.
Damn it.
I had to. It was just the money was too good to pass up, and I was just like, Well,
hey, get back to your roots and put together a Sportster, dude.
I have a chopper project, an Evo chopper I'm building, so if I can get that thing done, maybe, or I can just borrow a bike. I do have a shop dyno that's at the shop I could probably ride. Yeah, just roll I'd love to do it at least once.
Put your old lady on the back, Yeah.
You
guys come out. We're going to go to Ensenada the first night, and then San Felipe.
Yeah.
You can do it pretty quick, Yeah. I know with kids, babysitters, and all that, but you can do a couple nights and be home in your own bed. So
it'd be fun.
Yeah, those are good events. Those are all ones we usually go to as well.
Yeah,
kind of the same on ours. And then we always got our eyes out for new things that might be fun. There's a lot of new ones now, man.
Yeah,
Party at the Pen.
Yep, I haven't made it to that one yet. It's just hard because everything's always it's so spread out, and like trying to plan events for me, like even doing like a bike night or whatever. It's like there's always something going on, so it's hard. It's hard to it's hard to plan anything.
No, and motorcycle guys, we don't love to have a schedule. So a lot of those events, you'll get 2 months notice. It's like, man, we need 12 months notice to really put it on the calendar. If you're juggling kids and old ladies and other events, you need to know a year before, or else we're not going to make it. It's a 2-day event. Well, okay, it takes 2 or 3 days to get there. It takes 2 or 3 days to get home. Now we're looking at a week. Then there's the hangover, Now we're looking at 10 days, 2 dudes, 10 days. Like, it's a big nut to crack, So it's hard to really go gamble on those new ones if you don't know for sure. So sometimes it makes sense. Yeah, we're just going to fly in, me and the old lady. We're going to have a nice little weekend. We're going to go to the show for half a day. We're going to go see some other local stuff for half a day and then get out of there. So, yeah, we have the same little problem over here at Biltwell, and we're trying to combat it the same way as you. It's always this moving target, and sometimes, you can have all the best plans, and then you realize there's a good event, and it's new, and it's in a month. Okay, we just got to go.
Yeah. Just being there, though, and getting, like, media and putting that on Instagram or whatever, they're like, oh, he was there.
Yeah.
Like, they were there. So it's all...
And I can think we can get stuck in our own little bubble in Southern California especially and think that we hung the moon, We did. But but it's good to know you got to go check other stuff out to know that you did hang the moon.
Yeah.
Go check out these other places and see how they do it, and it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
It might make you reinforce the stuff that you already like, or give you some new ideas on parts or how they're doing it differently or what they're riding in different parts of the country.
Yeah.
So, man, somehow you made it almost 20 years in the motorcycle business, Steve. I think that's a long time.
Yeah.
What are some of the lessons you learned? You probably learned a couple.
Never do partnerships. That's number one.
Yeah.
Never, ever, ever again. No, it doesn't matter. I don't care if it's, no, ever.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking about doing partnerships, just say no.
Partnerships are ships that don't sail.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
Again,
I've been in a couple.
Construction 101, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Every construction company.
Well,
just like you, every construction company, the second one is successful because there's no partner.
Right.
And if there is a partner, it's the guy's old lady.
And it's always because they got smart.
Yep.
The second time.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think that, and then just picking the right people. I don't trust very many people. And it's funny you brought Ernie up, but I got to shout out Ernie a little bit. Dude, he's like, he's just comes in, no bullshit, gets stuff done, and keeps me. It's hard to keep me on a leash, and he keeps me on a leash. He's like, hey, you got to get this done. Like, go do it. Like, I'll handle all this other stuff. So shout out Ernie. Ernie Groom, if you don't know.
Yeah. Hey, Elsinore.
Yeah, Elsinore boy.
Yeah. You gotta watch out for those Elsinore guys.
But he's amazing. He's come on and it's like turned into like a running machine. So.
Man, that sounds like an old dog that's learned new tricks too, because he's a wrench and now he's in the front. You know,
and he does a great job, and he keeps.
And he learned something, and he's doing it, and he's doing it because out of necessity.
Yeah,
you know, he knows what his next best options are. Mm-hmm. Not great, so he needs to make this motorcycle thing work. You know,
we get in each other's. You know, we get bothered by each other, but I mean, who doesn't? But you know, he keeps me where I need to be.
And he's plugged in too, dude. He's at all the events. He's there early. He's got a dumb little wagon, like an old guy. He's way too young to have a dumb little wagon.
No, he rides a scooter.
Yeah. That scooter. So
he's like, come on, get on the scooter and go with me. I was like, I'll never do that.
Yeah, I'll never do that.
That's gay.
But he's there and he's getting deals and he's talking to people and he knows what fits what, kinda, you know. Yeah. And so
he's a wheeler and dealer. He's very on the know and knows what to do. And like, I'm like, you bought that, and then he sells it the next day, and I'm like, well, I'm wrong.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's great.
Okay.
But good team.
What I say?
No partnerships. Good team. Good wife. You know, like, you know, we talked. You mentioned something about us having problems. We had problems, and we're back and stronger than ever.
Problems. It was life problems.
It was life problems
and just serious things that you've had to walk through with a good partner that sometimes shake out marriages. Yeah. You know, marriages don't a lot of times recover from some of the stuff that you've been through with that, and I've seen it, and but it can make your partnership stronger, and it seems like it's done that with you guys.
Yeah.
You know, again, I see your wife at all those things, and she's happy to be there, and she's not scowling. And
she loves going. Like, I think she probably likes going more than I do.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, I really don't want to go, and she's like, oh, come on, and she's about it, and she wants to get on the back of the bike all the time. So, good job. Picking a good partner is definitely a help.
Yeah, because it's not easy for them. It's not easy for them. It's long.
No, not at all.
It's not a lot of pay a lot of times.
Yeah. She picks up the slack a lot, but she knew what she was getting into. When I took her on our first day, I had to borrow money to take her out. So, from my daughter too. So she still gives me that back. My daughter's always like, "You had to borrow my money to take her out." I'm like, "Well, you know, you got to do what you got to do."
Okay. What? Man, shout yourself out. You, Steve. You've had some wins doing this for 20 years. What are some of the things that you're proud of pulling off?
I mean, I think just still being here and still doing the thing. Like, I mean, I've worked in some great places, worked with some good people, and I think, you know, just doing that is a win. There's a lot of people that don't make it in this industry this long, and I'm still doing what I love and get to, you know, enjoy waking up every day and go do what I like to do. So I think that's a win. Yeah. I've had some cool bikes. You know, not a lot of people get the opportunity to own stuff that they've wanted to own. And I think that last FXR that I had, that was definitely a bucket list thing for me, which everyone's like, why would you want a shovelhead FXR? I'm like, I don't know, because they're cool. Yeah, they are cool. It's
kind of the best of everything.
It is.
I mean, the coolest. You know? Maybe not the best, the coolest of everything.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, not the best.
And I mean, I got that bike from Oliver Jones from Cut Rate, and the bike was already like had a good start. I didn't really do much, just changed kind of the look of it, but the thing ran like a top, and it was just a great bike. So shout out to Oliver for selling me such a cool bike. So
Oliver's one of the cool dudes that we get to mix it up with on a regular. That's a solid.
Yeah.
You know? Again, one of our Southern California friends that. We just help each other out all the time, you know. Hey, I need this, I need that. Just take it, pay me later. Call me. Can you pick this up? He's in your neighborhood. Oliver, real good team player, man.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for that guy. He's definitely helped out Biltwell. He's helped out all my swap meets. Yeah. He's been, you know, a steadfast friend for 10 plus years.
Yeah. He's the man.
What's next? What's next for Till Death? Where are you guys going? What do you got plans on for? We're already at 2026. We're filming this now. What is it? It's September right now. So we're into 2026. What are you guys doing next year? Any changes?
Not any changes. I think our lease is up in May. That's kind of a big thing because our shop's huge. If anybody's been to our shop, it's a massive shop, and we took that on with Tracker Die, and it was going to work and whatever. So it's a big undertaking. So I don't know. Maybe move shops.
Stay in Southern California.
Stay in SoCal.
The 91, the 15 little hub right there.
Yeah, we'll still stay in the same area. There's, we're so spoiled. Like, we have Race Tech right down the street. You guys are right down the freeway.
Swap meets down the
Swap
street.
meets right down the street.
You want to head out of town, you just start heading east.
Yep. And it's a good little spot. Everybody and all our local customers, like, they're great. They're all from out here.
Nobody minds coming there. It's easy to shoot up. Everyone's an hour away.
Even if they're in LA or whatever, it's still you're going opposite traffic to come out to us, so it's not as bad as having to go up the other way. Yeah. So they can keep all that LA traffic.
Yeah, we were talking about that. That definitely keeps me from going out there too much. Yesterday, Masa, like I said, was out here buying some stuff, and I'm like, dude, it's gonna take you a minute to get here. Yeah. He's like, it says 90 miles or something. I'm like, yeah, it's probably 2.5 hours, man. You know, and he's like, it was 2.5 hours. I'm like, dude, I told you.
Yeah,
man. It's freaking
you got to plan an extra hour ahead when you leave from there.
And then he stayed here. He was helping Machi get a bunch of stuff, and they stayed till like 8 or 9. I'm like, oh, good for you, dude, because maybe you'll miss some of that traffic.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's something that unless you live here, it's hard to account for it. Yeah, all the time friends will fly in and they'll say, well, I'm flying to LAX. I said, well, I will not be picking you up.
Yeah, good luck.
Take an Uber.
It's going
to be $150, dude. Money well spent. Because I ain't coming there. So, all right, well, we're going to wrap it up. We appreciate you always coming to our silly events, parts and labor and helping us out with a lot of the riders that we help out are some of the same guys that you help out, I know you've helped, Ravi a lot, and he always credits you.
Ravi's my son. I love that dude.
You should be so lucky.
He was my first employee, and still to this day we talk at least a couple times a week, and he's as solid as they come. So if you're up that way, go see Ravi at Savage Powerhouse. He's the man. He's
in Signal Hill. So if you are from LA and you don't want to come out to Steve's, man, hit up Ravi's. He's a little closer. Yep. He was out here yesterday buying a bunch of stuff. He came by with his new little baby and his beautiful wife, and he's just a hustler, dude. I mean, the smoke coming off his Nikes, dude. It's like it's real. Oh, it's real. He's nonstop.
So the funny thing is like he's now how I was back when he was working with me. Yeah, like just run around, and I'm kind of slowing down a little bit. So like. We joke around that we've traded places now. So
yeah, well, you did something right. He pulls up. He's in this diesel Chevy, big trailer on the back. I look in the bed of his truck. He's got like 10 gallons of used oil, 2 burnout tires, a stack of fishing poles, and 2 big boxes of Pampers. You know what I mean? Because that's the stage of his life he's in.
He's doing it.
And I'm just like, you're burning it at both ends, right? He's like, I'm burning it at both ends. His wife's inside the thing. It's 100 degrees out here. He just leaves the truck running for like 2.5 hours. Yeah. I cooled down this office. I'm like, hey, your wife could come inside. She just sat in the truck. Yeah. And he's just burning it, dude. Yeah. He's just burning it. We're moving, racking. It is not light. Yeah. He picks up 2 pieces. I usually just pick up 1. I'm like, 2 because Ravi's here.
Yeah, you got to keep up.
I got to keep up, dude. And so hanging out with kids like him, and I always say all these kids nowadays are bums. They're not all bums.
Not all of them.
They're not all. No. There's a guy like Ravi that really raises the bar for all those other kids, and he's one of them. And he always credits you, Steve. He's always like, Steve, man. He's like, Steve helped me out so much. And so if you go to your grave and you only have one Ravi waving your flag when you're gone, like, you'll be okay.
If Ravi is the only one that still praises me or whatever, I'll die happy, man.
Yeah, you'll die happy.
He's the man.
So for sure. You did something good. It's something I always try to talk about when we do these is like, who are you passing it on to? Who are you passing it on to? And if you're this get off my lawn old man, you're just as bad as all the guys we grew up hating. Yeah. You're just as bad as that shop manager or whatever that hit your lift and let it go down and then didn't have your back. When it came time to face the music, you're the same as him, So if you're not passing it on to anybody, to heck with you. You should go work at the water district.
Should.
So, I'll let you get out. I appreciate you bringing me the cold brew, man.
Yes,
I didn't realize how bad I needed it today. I'm a little under the weather, got a little bit clipped.
I thrive off of caffeine, so,
Me too.
I know.
But I needed that extra little kick. So thanks for coming out. And
thanks for having me.
We'll catch you at the next show.
Yeah, awesome.
Steve, tilldeathcycles. Appreciate you coming out, Steve.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for listening to another episode of the Parts and Labor Podcast, brought to you by
Biltwell. You got any feedback? You got any questions? Send us a voice recording or an email at pod@biltwellinc.com. That's pod@biltwellinc.com.